Hello everybody, we are continuing on with our first round Stanley Cup playoff previews, and of course we're going to be talking about a great series. I think it could be a really good series between the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers. Now before we start, I wanted to say please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new to me, new to hockey, whatever the case may be. I'd love to have you here along the way as I try to do this as a career, so subscribe if you feel like it. If not, no big deal. Anyway, let's get into this. So how exactly did we get here? Well, we got here with New Jersey being one of the biggest surprises of the season. They went from 63 points last year to 112-point campaign for a franchise best season for total points, and also improved 49 points from one year to the next. Absolutely insane. And the addition of a shiny new toy in Timo Meier has a lot of people that are Devils fans feeling really good about what this team could do. As for the Rangers, they decided to follow up their conference final run from last year to have another 100-plus point season and go out and get two very big names, and just not be afraid to go out and get these icons in Patrick Kane from the Chicago Blackhawks and then Vladimir Tarasenko from the St. Louis Blues. And now we're going to get to see who gets the head of the second round, as these two teams have certainly met before in the playoffs, last time doing so back in 2012, and have a hatred for each other. I think a real hatred is they have the proximity to each other and also that history where they have met in the postseason. With that being said, what are some storylines to watch out for this series? Number one will the Stars come out to shine for New York? This one is a given talking point. We absolutely have to talk about this, considering Kane and Tarasenko have very big legacies with their teams, but also with the NHL and what they've been able to achieve. And they really could impact their team's current title odds. Of course, New York is who I'm talking about. For Patrick Kane, the sticking point here is how he's going to play with probably Artemi Panarin. They haven't played a lot of really productive 5-on-5 minutes together. They've outscored their opponents just 6-5. However, I'm not as concerned about that. I'm more focused on the power play together there. They've been able to outscore the other teams 10-2. That connection, of course, is going to be big for them. I really look at this and I say Patrick Kane might not be the guy from former years where he's going to be able to score 40-plus goals or something like that, but he still is going to have an impact for his new team, and his chemistry with Artemi could be something that really is an X factor in this playoffs, because it's really nice to have that kind of chemistry, and I think they were pretty good friends in their time with Chicago. I don't know if they've been able to keep that friendship, probably have, but yeah, something to watch out for Kane and the Rangers, but we will see, because the Rangers fans, of course, also would like to see him in his 3 cups step up to the plate, if you will, and be able to take advantage of this moment. As for Tarasenko, he's registered 21 points in 31 games for the Blue Shirts. That's good for a 55-point pace, playing about 16 minutes a night for the Blue Shirts. And at first glance, you're looking at that saying that's really great. That is good for them. Maybe not if you're more of a pessimist, but I do worry that he's a bit of a liability defensively. The reason, in my opinion, is that he's focused so much on scoring off the rush and doesn't seem to want to forecheck that he's just absolutely a liability defensively. And you look at the metrics, you look at the heat map, you look at the shots against, all that stuff, and it's apparent he could be a problem. So I guess if you're a guy like Tarasenko that's able to score and provide that offense, things are going to be going pretty well and the fans are going to like you. But if things kind of get cold, I think that things could turn a little bit and you could see him maybe get a little bit less time. It's tough to say because I don't exactly know how this series will go or how the Rangers will do in the playoffs. As always, we'll see. As for the second topic, we're talking about another star, Timo Meier, and is he the key to getting past New York? This might be getting ahead of myself a little bit and saying that Meier is a star, but I don't really feel like it. He is having a great year, and it's clear he could be part of this squad for New Jersey that is able to go on a really deep run in the playoffs, and I think that's kind of why they went out and got him. They realized that they were in a much better squad than anticipated, and they wanted to go out and get a big name player. San Jose seemed to want to get rid of him for a long time, and they were able to do so. And we all know that for a guy that has scored 40 goals, while hockey is not a sport you can just go out there and win by yourself, if that was the case, the Oilers would have a ton of Stanley Cups. Then, that's just a joke there. But if that was the case, like I said with McDavid, they'd be great, but it's not. And for them, they know that no guy can win the series alone, but the Swiss-born player may just be the star that could complement this roster and come in here and be capable of getting them to their first championship since 2003. Since arriving in New Jersey, he has been able to score 9 goals in 21 games. Most importantly, none of those are empty net goals, and the goal scoring just down low where he's able to get a lot of these goals could be great for New Jersey. The Rangers struggled a little bit at 5-on-5 play, especially to kind of keep the opponents down away from their goalies. They were really just up on the doorstep of the crease there. And for a guy like Meier, you watch especially his highlights, he is just able to score a ton of contested goals down low, right by the goalie, settle down some really bad pucks, and for them, I think we're going to see him have a potentially very great series. He loves to shoot too. He finished the season 6th in the league for shots this year, 336. That is just behind teammate Jack Hughes, who had 11 more than him. Finished 5th, of course, in the league, and truthfully, I really do feel sorry for both teams that they have to defend so many great players this round, and Meier may just be the thing that Rangers fans are, really sick and tired of hearing his name at the end of this series. So we'll see. And then, of course, we'll also see whose depth makes the difference with the rosters that we look at on these teams. Both of them really are, filled with just big name talent, and that's great. But the difference could be made by guys that are more in the bottom 6 roles. Kind of tough to say because lines get moved around and minutes get shifted and things like that, but here are some names that could be featured on both sides out of the forward group that could stick out for the Devils. I think there's just so many guys. You look at guys like Dawson Mercer, the 2020 first-round pick. He got under 17 minutes a night and put together a season where he put 27 goals in the back of the net. Jesper Bratt, of course, is another guy that comes to mind. Just played a little over 17 and a half minutes, actually just around there. 32 goals for him. Not even 20 minutes a night, just 32 goals, nice and easy. Does have 2 goals in his last 12 games, but he has really turned it on in the past 2 seasons, so I'm kind of hoping he can do so here in the playoffs. But also, Tomas Tatar is another name too here. 20 goals in a bottom 6 role. He's kind of hovered around where some nights he might play 19 minutes, other nights tends to be more like 14, things like that. So multiple guys there. Other guys that I could mention, you could look at a lot of the bottom 6 guys for New Jersey and say, yep, he could be a factor. This guy could be a factor. I might as well just put a photo of their run-up and say, yeah, this guy is going to be it, and just point to some random guy, and it probably will be. As for New York, 2 names that stick out are the former first overall pick, Alexis Lafreniere, and the second overall pick, Kaapo Kakko. I think we talked about these 2 players last year in at least one of the previews that we did for the Rangers. But here we go again. Lafreniere is, of course, a guy that has been in the doghouse, to be quite frank. At points this year was a healthy scratch at times, and his future in the Big Apple is a little bit uncertain as he is an RFA after the playoffs. A playoff run may just be the thing to get him going. For a while there, he was the player that was able to get those 5-on-5 goals for New Jersey, and just this year kind of been in the doghouse at points. I'd really like to see what is going to happen for him, and if he can have a big kind of impactful playoff series, especially against a team like New Jersey with the rivalry and with them being such a good team. As for Kakko, he's had a career year for goals, assists, and points, and is still able to put up good defensive metrics. Let's say that he continues to grow and he has a good series here and he blossoms into this guy that is a 50-point goal or a 50-point guy every year and is capable to have really good defensive value. I wouldn't be mad about that if I was a New York fan, especially considering how some of the prior seasons had gone where you thought, is he even going to be able to be, on a 4th line role for us? If he's able to suddenly put together a 50-point season and provide you that defensive value, I'd be ecstatic there. And let's see what he does in the playoffs. Also, for one more name out of this forward group, Barclay Goodrow is a guy that I wanted to throw out here. Maybe not a super popular name, but he is on a 6-year deal, and while he doesn't get a crazy amount of minutes, about 14 minutes a night, you pay a guy and you give him that long of a contract, you're hoping that somewhere along the way he can be part of some big moments. So right now, with the Rangers coming off a Eastern Conference Final appearance, you'd love to see them back it up with another big run. But forward depth, I would say the Devils kind of have an edge there. As for X Factors on the blue line for the final talking point of this series, I want to talk just about some other names here. We could talk about some guys like, Dougie Hamilton, Adam Fox. Those are the big names, of course. But I want to talk about some other guys as this series will probably feature defensemen just having their hands full with the opposing forwards. So with this, I want to say for New Jersey, John Marino may be that guy. Kind of a very underrated defensive defenseman for a while now, the past few seasons. it fluctuates. It can be one year, maybe it's bad, but for the most part, Marino has been one of those guys that has flown under the radar, has put together very good minutes for his team. Of course, was traded over from Pittsburgh. I thought that was a great deal for the Devils, and he is just doing a great job for him here. He might not put up those big numbers offensively, those traditional numbers of goals, assists, and points, but I can promise you he's going to give you 20 plus minutes, and he's going to make sure that teams especially don't get a lot of great shots really just in the slot. He's going to make sure that doesn't happen, and that is great. He could possibly be part of a group that sees some big moments and could prevent maybe a breakaway goal that could happen, something like that in a timely moment when you need him most. As for New York, K'Andre Miller will be here, and Miller is a 2018 first round draft pick, put up 43 points in 79 games played for his team this year, and had about 22 minutes a night for his team. While you probably won't notice him much on the power play this year, I think he averaged like half a minute per game. You're going to notice him probably on the PK, and for his team, that might be where they need him to step up the most. And like I said, they're going to have to try to stop a Jersey team that finished 13th on the man advantage this year. New Jersey is one of those sides that if they get on the power play where they really get going, could be trouble. Same could be said for New York, though. Others here to watch out for. There's just so many names. I don't have, a whole list like I probably should. But in general, you're looking at multiple guys for both sides saying, yeah, they could probably step up. So having said all this, who am I going to pick in this series? I'm going to pick the New Jersey Devils to win this in 7 games. This is a tough series. I don't want anybody to think any differently. That's why I'm having it go to 7 games. I see why people could lean on the Rangers. They have a big name, or multiple big names, and they have Igor Shesterkin in net as a big name goalie. Definitely a side that is capable of winning it here, and again, that's kind of why I went with 7 games. Ultimately, though, I think that the Devils realized, or I realized that the Devils have more talent than maybe some other people think. Not saying that I'm privy to it, but even me, I had lower expectations for the Devils this year. I said kind of 80, 90 points. They're able to have just a really hot stretch early in the year with a 10-game winning streak. And I just say that maybe they don't get as much attention because they're in a smaller market. They're in that tri-state area, but they don't have that New York attached to them. They're in Jersey. And for myself, I look at this and I actually think that they have quite a bit of star power as well and are on the up and up. So we will see. They've been a great team all year and a half to go up against another great team that has big expectations. But like I said, it's not like Jersey doesn't have the talent to possibly match up to that. And I didn't even mention other guys in this preview like Nico Hischier that could be, the two-way force that he has been. And we are so ready for this series. I am pumped. I am so excited for this series. Anyway, who do you think will win this series? Why and in how many games? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go with hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.